Hello everyone, welcome back to the CodeIsha Training Center. So today we will discuss about the database of the MySQL. So as per software technologies 30 days, we are at day 7. Okay, so let's see in this session what we are going to learn about the MySQL. Okay, so let's get started into the slides. So today our agenda is what is a database and introduction to the MySQL database and RDBMS concepts and MySQL architecture and SQL basics about the CRUD operations and on examples also, and final why learn MySQL and summary, and you will get assignment also based on these today topic. Okay, so let's get started into the main slides. So coming to the what is database. So a structured collection of data. Okay, so it stores information in an organized way. Okay, so in that database we can easily retrieval and management and updating the data. Okay, so here's examples like student records, banking systems data, and e-commerce data. And also we can use these database for products items data. Okay, and various type of business requirements we can use these database. Okay, so in that database we have the lot of like MySQL, SQL, Oracle, and also we have the different databases there. So as of now we are taking for example MySQL only. Okay, so let's see another one. So coming to the what is MySQL. So this MySQL is open source relational, okay, database management, okay, management systems. It uses the structured query language. Okay, and it developed by Oracle Corporation. Okay, and it can widely used in the web applications. Okay, so wherever in the web application we can use these database. Okay, so for example take we need feedback form. Okay, so that end user came the feedback form page. Okay, so in that feedback form page have the lot of fields is there. Okay, so that end user came and enters the all data. Okay, so once he submit that data, where it stores, so we don't have any database. Okay, so where it stores, it cannot stores anywhere, right? And also we cannot get those data, right? So which user came and which user entered the data and which user the going with these feedback, what the purpose, we cannot know about these are all things, right? So that purpose we can use the database to store the data. Okay, so whatever the end user came and give the feedback, and we can check inside the database, so which user is came and which location is came and what purpose he given the feedback. Okay, so what is the in that feedback is there. So these are all check, when we need these are all checks, that time we need to use the database. Okay, so database means for the data. Okay, stores the data. So up to here, okay, right? And coming to the RDBMS, okay, relational database management system. So relational database management systems, it stores the in tables like including the rows and the columns. Okay, so relationships between the tables using the keys. Okay, so like see here we have the key concepts like primary key and the foreign key and constraints. Okay, so here's the primary key is the table unique row ID. Okay, so like for example take the student records. Okay, so in that student records have the, so in that students record we have the same name, right? Same name students also, sometimes same name students are there, and sometimes same location students are there, sometimes same age students are there, sometimes same gender as there. So this time how we can find out these unique student. So for that we can use the primary key. Primary key nothing but student ID. Okay, so the student ID, each row it identify the unique. Okay, so entire row we have the unique ID. Okay, and foreign key nothing but the parent record ID. Okay, so for example take the student sorry users table and we have the uh, orders table. Okay, so here when that user is came our web application, so he ordered the one id, oh sorry, he ordered the one order. Okay, so again he visit again that application, he again ordered the one more id, one more order. So here one user came two or three times orders done, right? So how we can find out, how we can see which user is ordered, these are all things. Okay, so how which user is came and how many orders are there. So we are find out these are all things, we have the foreign key. Okay, so here's the student, sorry, user is the parent key and the orders is the child records. Okay, so one user have the number of records, a number of orders. Okay, so here the simple primary and the foreign, and constraints means like conditions. Okay, so which age is there and the like which location is there. Okay, and the that records are not null. Okay, these type of conditions when we need, we have to give with the constraints. Okay, and coming to the architecture, so client layer is user interface on applications like web page or web form. Okay, so like applications. Okay, these are all we call it the client layer, and servers layer is query processing. Okay, and storage engine is data storage. Okay, like whether it is MySQL, whether it is Oracle, whether it is any other related databases is there, so we call it the storage engine. Okay, so here's the popular engines, storage engines, InnoDB and MySQL. Okay, and coming to the SQL basics. So SQL is structured query language. Okay, so use it for the creating the databases and the managing the data and the query the informations. So whatever we have the inside the database, how we can retrieve. So for that we can use this SQL feature. Okay, and coming to the CRD operations, let's see what is this, what are they. So coming to the C for create. Okay, so inserting the records, okay, into the tables. So when we need insert the values into the table, we need to use this syntax like insert into. So specific, we need to specify here the table. Okay, table name, whether it is students, whether it is orders, whether it is patient, whether it is users info, users table, or whether it is any bank, specific bank table. Okay, so first we need to specify here the table name. Okay, and then we need to add the values. Okay, in here we need to add the values one by one. Okay, so and coming to the read or for read, so when we read, nothing but fetch the data. So from the database we need to give, we need to need the values. Okay, we need the data. So that time what we can do, we need to write the query for that to fetch the data from the databases. Okay, so here the syntax there. So we need to write the select and the hashtag from the students. So here we need to mention the which table, like whether it is students, whether it is patients, whether it is like any user. Okay, whether it is any specific bank user, and whether it is any specific product. Okay, so we need to mention here the those table. Okay, and here's the update. So update, and we need to give the table name and the set and which field you need to update. So whether it is name, whether it is location, whether it is gender, whether it is age, whether it is date of birth, you need to mention here the field name. Okay, and then you need to give the value and the, if anything requirements like conditions is there, we need to add the where condition, like id, like for example 001 or 005 or 0010 or 007. Okay, so we need to mention their specific id, which record you need to update. Okay, so and then execute that one. Okay, this is a symbol to update the record. Okay, and here's the delete, d for delete. So delete from the, we need to mention the table name and give the conditions. So whether it is all data, whether it is all data, or we need to specific one record only delete. Okay, so we have, when we have this specific identify the record, we have the primary key, nothing but id, right? So we need to mention that id value and then execute that, it will delete the dot record. Okay, so up to here, okay, right? And coming to the creating the database and the table. So as of now we are going to the creating the table only, so we don't create any databases now. Okay, so see here the one if we need to create the table, so here's the process. Okay, first we need to give the syntax like create, okay, and the table. Okay, so after the table we need to give the table name, okay, and then open brackets we need to give the fields values. Okay, so whatever you need to inside the table fields you need to give here with the name, okay, field name and the data type name. So whether it is primary or foreign key we need to give here. Okay, and second one, see here's the name nothing but field name, and here's a voucher 50 nothing but data type. Okay, and here's the age is a field name, and int nothing but integer, this is a data type. Okay, so we need to give the comma. Okay, so if anything more fails we need to give comma. Okay, so up to here, okay, right? So how we can create the table, we need to give the create table tag, sorry, syntax, and then after that give the table name. Okay, so inside we need to give the open brackets, inside that we need to add the our fields, whether it is id, whether it is name, gender, location, or any other related our requirement we need to add inside the these open brackets. Okay, adding the comma. Okay, and here's the filtering data. So before going that, so let's try to create this table. Okay, so let's back into the MySQL code editor. So inside that what we need to do first, we need to create the database, right? Sorry, table, right? So create table. So here I'm going to the user. Okay, I'm going to the user here. So after that what we need to give, we need to give the field values. Okay, so here I'm going to the user id. Okay, so let's remove these are all uid. Okay, so here the uid int. Okay, and here is the primary key. This is the primary key. Let's primary key, and then I'm giving the name. Okay, so name, what's like I'm giving the 30. Okay, 30 letters only inside that, and I'm giving the gender. Okay, gender also watcher. Okay, I'm giving here only 10 values, 10 characters, and then I'm giving the age. Okay, so age nothing but int. Okay, so up to here is it done. So I'm closing this one. So let's run this. So if anything we can see, so we don't have any values, right? So program did not output anything. Okay, so before let's go into the here CRD operations. Okay, so when we are creating done the table, so what we need to give the values, so what we need to do, insert into, give this table name. Okay, and the values, right? So let's back into the code editor. So here I'm going to the insert. Okay, giving it into syntax, and what we need to do here the you need to give the user. Okay, user after values. So inside the values we need to give the okay, so I'm going to the 001. Okay, and here the I'm giving the name is John. Okay, and here and also male, and age is 25. Okay, so up to everything. Okay, so I don't want any more values, just I need only one. Okay, so let's execute this one. So again we don't have any input values. So once we are added these created records, right? So when we need to see or read these data, what we can do, we need to write the query for that, right? So what is the process? So we need to write the select and the asterisk from the table. So let's back into the code editor. Okay, so let's back into the code editor. Here I'm going to the select, writing the query for read that records inside the table. So from, so which from table name, user, right? So I'm going to the user. Let's semicolon. Let's run this code. So we don't have any here values, right? We don't have any here and the table and the name and the gender and age, right? So let's run this piece of code. Let's see. So now it successfully fetch the data, right? So here's the ones we are done the creating the table, writing this syntax, and here given the table name. Okay, so sorry, so here given the table name, and after that we need to add the open brackets. So inside that I'm giving the field names. Okay, so here's the user id and the name and the gender and the age, right? So see here, user id, name and the gender and the age. So inside for these fields I'm given the value with the insert syntax. Okay, so one is what we are done, so 001 John and the male and the 205. Okay, so up to here. Okay, right? So let's, I'm trying to change here 001 to 123. Okay, so let's run this piece of code whether it is changes or not. So here we have only one, right? So let's run this code. See, now it changes because of we are changed right here. Okay, so up to here. Okay, right? And let's try to using the update. Okay, so which update? So what we need to do first, we need to write the update syntax, and here the we need to mention, and then what we need to do, set the where we need to add. So I'm going to the set. Okay, I'm changing the age. Okay, age equal to, I'm going to the 28. Okay, 28. So where we need to give this specific, I'm going to the where id and here uid. Okay, so where the uid equal to, so what is that, 123. Okay, so let's see, run this code whether it is update or not. So let's run this code. So as of now we have the 25, right? So before running this update syntax. Okay, so let's run. So now what we can see, 25. Before what we have, 25. Now what we can see, 28. So successfully we are updated this age field, right? So up to here. Okay, right, everything. So let's back into the, so let's try to delete also. Okay, so I'm going to the run delete one also. Okay, delete and the user. Okay, and going to the table, we are done the table right here. We are, sorry, we need to add the from. Okay, delete from this user table and going with the where value, and here going with the id. Okay, and which id value, so I'm going to the 123. So let's run this code whether it is, so as of now we have the one record. So once we run this delete, so whether it is update or not, let's see. See, we don't have any programs because we are deleted the specific record. So let's try to remove this line delete syntax. So let's run. So now 28. So let's try to delete this line of code. So let's see now what it happens. So it back into the our normal thing, right? So let's try to, I'm going to the some more values. Okay, so let's try to adding the some more values. Okay, so I'm copy this line of the code. Sorry, so here I'm changes in this insert. Okay, 2 and 3 and the 4. Okay, so let's try to run. So now we have the 4 records and the same name and the same gender and the same age. So let's try to, I'm changing the here 30. Okay, and here I'm giving the 15. Okay, and I'm giving here the 18 or 19 or 18, whether it is what it is. So here I'm going to the with the joy. Okay, and here I'm going with the Ginny. Okay, I'm here changing the gender. Okay, gender value, and here I'm going to the potent. Okay, let's try to give the here female. Okay, So up to everything okay, right? So let's run this code whether it is changes or not. See here the table. Let's run. See now John, Joy, and Jimmy, Ginny on 14, right? So here's the genders and the age also there. So we have already these line of the query, right? So let's try to inside that query we need to give the conditions like I need to where, okay, gender equal to only female records I need, okay. So here's I'm adding the gender values female. So let's try to execute this one, okay. So let's see how many records we can see here the output, okay. Let's run this code. See now we can only see two records because we are given the condition here. So what the condition is, where the gender value is female, okay, so that records only I need, okay. For that it shows the these records only, okay. So up to everything okay, right? So let's back into the slides, and we are successfully created the table and adding the values and the read the values also, right? And also we are given the filter also like taking the gender, or we can also give the age also. So let's see. So see here the where age is greater than 18, okay. So in that when we need to adding the conditions or filtering, so we need to use the where clause, okay, and conditions here, okay. So whether it is greater than, less than, and the like, okay, and equal to. So let's try to write the piece of code adding the greater than or less than, okay. So already we have the where and giving age here. I'm going with the greater than, okay, 20, okay. So where the age field value have the more than 20, okay. So where the age field value is more than 20, those records only I need, okay. Those records only I need to fetch, okay. So let's see when I run this code, so what we can see inside the output, okay. So let's run. See how many records we are seeing, only two records because these two records only more than 20, okay. So let's try to, I'm changing here, okay. So let's, I'm going with the less than 20, okay. So I'm run this piece of code. So now how many records we can see, two, right? So let's see, here's the 15 and the 19 because of we are given the less than 20, okay. So let's try to, I'm going with the less than 15, okay, less than equal to 15. So let's see how many records we can see when we have these condition. See we have only one. So anyone observe why we are seeing 15 less than equal to, because when that value is equal to, right, we are given the equal to, not only less than, right? So let's remove this equal to. So now can we see this record? We cannot see because 15 less than, right? So let's see, run. So see we don't have any values because we are given only less than, okay. So up to here, okay, right? So lost value is 15, so we cannot see any values inside that less than 15, okay. So up to okay, right? And let's back into the slides. So here's a real use cases, these databases into the, we can use these databases, e-commerce websites, banking systems, social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, okay. So these are all must and should need the databases, okay. So for example take the YouTube. So YouTube, when we upload the video, so where we can go is that where that videos can store into the databases, right? So and then once we can see those videos, how we can see with the read, read nothing but read operation, nothing but the fetching the data, okay. So and student management systems, okay. So this is a real world use cases, these databases. And why learn MySQL? So it is the high demand skill and we can easy to learn this MySQL database, okay. And it used with the popular technologies PHP, Python, and the Java also, okay. So up to here, okay, right, everything. And final one summary based on today's topics done. So we are done. MySQL is a powerful RDBMS, okay, and MySQL helps the manage and query the data. And CRDU operations are essentials like delete, update, read, or create. Okay, and strong foundation for backend and data careers. Okay, so up to okay, right? So thank you everyone for watching this video. So I hope this video findful for and more informative also. Okay, so don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. Okay, and share it with your friend whoever the ready to learn Salesforce technologies and enthusiastic to career changes persons. Okay, so share this video. So thank you everyone, thank you.